Hey everyone, and welcome to today's video. I'm super excited about this video for two reasons. First, I have been wanting this piece for so long, but I was not wanting to spend the money, so I decided to make one. And the second reason I'm excited is because this is the February 2020 Look for Less challenge. I love doing this challenge. If you guys have been watching me for a while, you know that I get really excited about this one. This challenge is hosted by Yami over at the Latina Next Door, and this month's co-host is Kat at According to Kat. You will have to go check out both of their channels. I'll link them down in the description box below. They both have awesome DIYs, and I love doing this challenge. So what it is, if you're not familiar, it is where we find something super high-end and we recreate it for a lot less. So in this particular case, the high-end version that I found it on Etsy for $175. Don't get me wrong, it's beautiful, but I was not wanting to spend that much money on one of these. And I know I could have gotten it cheaper at Hobby Lobby or Kirkland's even, but I wanted to see if I could make it. So I made this bad boy for about $10. I did have some of the items already. If you were to go out and purchase all of the items and the paints, it would probably cost you right around $15, which I think that is a pretty darn good deal. If you guys are new to my channel, I would love it if you would hit that subscribe button and stick around. And if you're coming over here from the playlist, I would love to know. Let me know in the comments below. And if you guys like this type of video and if you like DIYs, don't forget to give it a big thumbs up. And all right, let's get into it. For this project, I'm going to be using two of these trifold presentation boards, I believe is what they're called. They're just cardboard, and these are from Dollar Tree, and I'm just going to be taking them and taping them together. I was going to use one, but it wasn't going to be big enough to make the whole entire circle, so I took two of them and then just taped them together. And then I picked up this little clock mechanism from Hobby Lobby. It was $9.99, and then I used my 40% off coupon, so I got it for right around $6. And right now I'm just taking the hand and I'm trying to figure out where the center of the cardboard is. And since I taped these together, I know that that line is the center. So I'm just kind of making a circle or making a mark in the middle, and that is going to be the center. And then I'm actually going to take some twine and tie it to a marker or a pencil, and I'm going to make that the diameter of the circle. So I'm measuring it out to be about 16 inches and give or take a few. And I'm just going to make a whole entire circle around on the cardboard to make sure that it comes out even. And right now I'm just taking the whole entire circle around, holding onto the twine. And I will say at different points I was holding the pencil differently. So after I cut it out, it was not very even. So I took a black marker and did the same thing again. And I made sure that I held the marker like the same exact way the whole entire way around, and it came out perfectly even the second time. So I'm just taking my X-Acto knife and cutting it out. And now for the paint. I have no idea what happened. My camera wasn't recording when I first started. So I'm using this white color, and then this other color is called Dolphin, and it's just like a light gray. And I'm doing a mixture of those two and just painting the whole entire circle that color. And then we are going to go in once it dries and distress it a bit and make it look a little bit more like real wood. So once that was dry, I'm taking my ruler and I'm going to make the wood pieces be about 4 inches apart. So I'm just going to make little marks every 4 inches, and then I'm going to make lines straight down the entire clock to make it look like actual pieces of wood. And then once I had those lines drawn out with pencil, I'm going to go in with some of my black paint and my paintbrush, and I'm just going to darken those lines a little bit. And they are going to be a bit harsh at first, but I'm actually going to take another paintbrush that's kind of wet, and I'm going to take that and just run it across the line and just kind of make it look a little not as harsh. And then we're going to go in a little bit and do something else, and it'll all come together at the end. And now I'm going in with a mixture of a very, very, very tiny amount of black, and then I'm going to mix it with that light gray color, and just use a tiny amount of black because if you guys can see over on the left, I used a little bit too much of the black, and that's how it turned out. I'm going to go back in and fix that later. But yeah, so I'm just using a mixture of that and just kind of taking my paintbrush, and I'm using a very not like a very neat paintbrush because I feel like this gives it more of like a realistic looking texture. And so for that really dark piece later on, I take a little bit of white and then some of that gray color, and I just kind of go over that a little bit to cover up the really, really dark, harsh lines. Next, I'm going to reinforce the clock a little bit. It kind of curled up because it's just cardboard, and when it's wet, it just kind of got like a weird shape, and I tried laying it flat for a little bit, but that wasn't really working. So I'm just taking some foam board and I'm cutting 3 strips of that, and then I'm going to glue it onto the back of the clock just so it'll stay flattened a little bit easier, and this actually did work out really well. And now moving on to the Roman numerals. So these are the little wood dowels from Dollar Tree. I had 3 packs of them, and I ended up using 3 whole packs, and then I needed a couple extras, which I had some left over, so I would go ahead and buy 4 just to be on the safe side. So what I'm going to do is for the X's, I'm going to just cut one of the dowels in half, and then I'm just going to glue it to the other dowel to make it look like an X, because if you glue them on top of each other, it'll just be way too thick. So the only things you're really going to make for these are you're going to need some X's, some V's, and then you're just going to use the dowels how they are. You're not going to do anything to those. So after I did them more and more, I got kind of the hang of it, and it got a little bit easier. So you might need a little sanding block to sand some of the pieces, like after you cut them if they're kind of harsh. But yeah, for the most part, this was pretty easy. I'm using these, I don't know if they're wire cutters or what they are, but these worked out really, really nice. Next, I'm taking these outside and just spray painting them black. I sprayed them on each side, and then I brought them in, and there were a couple spots that weren't covered, so I just took some of my black acrylic paint and then finished those up, just made sure that they were completely covered with black. And now for the tedious part. So right now I'm measuring I want to try to find the very center of the clock so that I can put the little mechanism in there, and I want it to be perfectly center. So that's what I'm doing right now, is just measuring it out, like how many inches it is to be the center. And then I just made like a little hole in the very center so that I knew where the clock mechanism was going to go. Now I'm taking my twine, and this was the part I was most concerned about because I wasn't sure how I was going to make all of the numbers even, like, directly across from each other. I wanted to make sure that it looked very even and put together and not just like I kind of was winging it. So I was trying to use my twine and just kind of making marks on each side. So I did like the 9 o'clock, 3 o'clock, and then the 12 and 6. And then for the other ones, I kind of just started in the center, and I did kind of eye it with these. So I drew a line, and then I made sure to make a straight line, like going back through the center and then going to the other side to make sure that they were going to be even. And now I was trying to put the little mechanism in there, but it was not going through because it was too thick with this foam board. So I just went ahead and cut a little square out so that I could put the little box in there and that it would fit and not be too thick. And then I did have to cut a little bit on the sides of this just to make sure that that it was going to screw on there, because there were like some ridges on it, and I just had to cut and make that so that that part was exposed. And then for this part, I'm putting together the clock. There are quite a few little pieces, but on the back of the packaging, it tells you exactly how to do it. There's a picture and everything. So I just followed that picture, and I had to do it a couple times because, I don't know, for some reason it wasn't right the first time. But this was probably one of the most tedious parts, was getting this completely right, because I wanted to make sure that it was going to work once I was finished. So yeah, see if you guys can see that. There's a picture. So yeah, you'll just have to follow the directions on that. And now it is time to glue on the Roman numerals. So I just went ahead and started with the 12 o'clock, and then I kind of did the 12, 3, 6, and 9. And then I went in and filled everything else in and just kind of eyed it. I did have my markers from before, but I wanted to make sure that it looked right. So I kind of just held everything up and made sure that it looked centered and that it looked even. And then I went ahead and just glued everything on. And this is the finished product. I'm really happy with how it turned out. I love this piece. I have it up in our living room, and I really like how it looks, and I'm super happy with how it turned out. So let me know if you guys enjoyed this video and if you guys liked how it turned out, and we will see you all on my next video. Bye.